The impact of divorce on men's life. Guys, over the weekend, I saw a football match between Arsenal and Man City. Manchester City got beaten quite convincingly. Yeah, beating them was quite a feat for Arsenal. So during the post-game analysis, the pundits, as they normally do, were analysing the cause of the defeat, or rather the cause of the malaise that Manchester City Football Club are suffering at the moment. I have to commend Thierry Henry. He made a very interesting point. In amongst all the critique that Man City were being subjected to, he drew our attention to the fact that the manager is going through something in his personal life which is extremely difficult. And in fact, he did say Thierry Henry went through that when he played for Barcelona. What I admired about Thierry Henry was the fact that he drew our attention, reminded us that the Pep Guardiola, it's not himself mentally. He's going through something in his personal life that is affecting him. So we need to bear that in mind. But, given that it wasn't the right context, he just pointed it out and he moved straight onto football. Now, I will want to point out this, guys. Pep Guardiola is going through, due to the divorce, is having an impact on his job as the manager of Manchester City, without a shadow of a doubt. You see, he's been with his partner for 30 years, and they've been married for 10, and they've got 3 grown-up children out of it. And apparently, as of December last year, barely 2 months ago, they have decided to divorce. I'm going to let you watch the video.
Do I feel sorry about what's happening to Man City and Pep? Yeah, I do. In one thing, it's not easy to deal with what Pep has to deal with outside of football. I went through that when I went to Barcelona. It's not easy to deal with stuff like that when you're not well mentally. You can see that he's not his usual self. Having said that, if we go back on the field at new football...
You're talking about his personal life?
Yeah, personal life. I had to deal with it when I went to Barcelona. I can tell you it's not easy. No one will like to deal with that while you have to perform all the time. So I think we can understand.
It doesn't matter how strong you think you are, how masculine you think you are, how famous you think you are, how successful you are at your business, your job. The mental, emotional, and psychological gymnastics you have to go through when you're going through a divorce would impact you in all of these fields. You see, it's not so much about the fact that you're going through a divorce. You can quite easily accept the fact that you're not going to be with that person anymore. But the issue lies with the bond that has been built over however many years that is about to be severed. It's the absence of those things that in your moment of solitude, no matter how you might think you're okay with it, it's when these things come back, these thoughts come back, followed by the emotion, and then the mind starts wandering off in all directions. You could be in a serious work situation where you're trying to broker a deal, you're trying to think of a solution to a difficult task. The thought comes back, followed by the emotional content alongside it, and then your mind wanders off again. I have been through that. I've been through it. You can see yourself talking, but actually your other self is trying to process that new normal, which is not the normal. No matter how hard you are, how tough you think you are, this stuff is really traumatic. Now, the reason why I wanted to share this, you see, the biggest killer of men under 50 is suicide. 62% of men who attempt suicide demonstrate signs of depression. This trauma you go through when you're going through a divorce is the biggest source of depression that men can suffer. And more acutely, according to the Office of National Statistics, men are 3 times as likely to commit suicide when they're going through a divorce. Because we bottle everything in, hoping that it will go away, or we're men, so we're going to tough it out. And if you're a guy watching this and you know somebody who might be going through this, or you're going through this, please don't sit there in silence. Get yourself some help. Get a therapist. Your health comes first, be it physical, mental or psychological. Get yourself some help whilst you're going through a divorce. You can't plan how you're going to handle it emotionally, psychologically and mentally. You can't. So I hope you found this useful. But, when you hear statistics like men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide during a divorce, the biggest killer of men under 50 is suicide. And most of them, 60% of suicide attempts go through depression. And you know that going through divorce will give you depression. This message needs to be amplified. And Thierry Henry, once again, thank you for bringing that up. And I think Man City, you got to get help for Guardiola. You can see in him when at the interviews, you can see through his eyes that there is something not quite there. He's not himself, and it's okay. Nobody expects you to walk through a divorce process. It's not a walk in the park by no means. It's not. And I hope Man City are taking the right steps to give the man some help. Believe me, it doesn't matter how wealthy you are, how famous you are, how strong you are, how weak you are. When you're going through a divorce after such a long period of time, it's not easy. And I hope you find it useful. So until next time, take care of yourselves.